Robinson. Danger.
What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about, Will?
We want your soul.
It really is a time when all of us have got to start talking louder than ever. The rapid speed of, if you like, globalization. The world government, world army, world central bank, world currency, world microchip population.
Don't be afraid.
No, be afraid. Be very afraid.
The important thing is to know where they want to take us.
They have to destroy the dollar, destroy the pound, destroy the old order while they've been building the new world order, this technological enslavement system.
The FBI is taking on a $1 billion project to gather fingerprints, palm patterns, even digital pictures of faces. Eventually, it could expand to include iris patterns, face shape patterns, scars, even information about how you walk and talk. It's called biometrics.
We want your soul.
You can't handle the truth.
Time to Howl at the Wolves. It's Saturday night, December 27, 2025, or 2025. Brooks, what did they say at the Bilderberg Group?
As you like it.
That's what they say. For the last time, 2025 or 2025. Next time, we got a different year to give you. And you just heard the great Brooks Agnew, co-host. How are you, Brooks?
I'm really well, actually. Had a good, productive Saturday. Moving right along with the finishing touches on the carriage house and the main house.
Very, very nice. I hope everyone had a Merry Christmas. We're going to get into the New Year festivities as well very, very shortly. And Keith Temple is out tonight. Adam Earth is out tonight, and Scott Hare is out tonight. And hopefully we get Scotty back on the regular in the new year. All of that. But Keith Temple shall be back next Sabado Noche. And, hopefully Adam Earth. During the Super Friends chat over the Christmas break, basically, for everybody. Brooks, that was an amazing motorcycle. I had no idea you rode.
Yeah, I rode it up here to the carriage house tonight. So it's sitting in the garage right underneath me right now.
Yeah, that's a sweet bike.
Yeah, it has good lines.
It does. It's beautiful. I mean, straight up, back in the day, I was wanting to learn how to ride. So I don't ride, but my best friend Dick Johnson, he had a crazy, just a sweet bike that was basically custom done afterwards. This Harley, but everyone lays their bike down at some point. It's what I've heard, but he laid it down one time, and he got done with riding. But your bike is absolutely beautiful. It really is.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. It's took quite a few months to get it to look like that.
Oh yeah, it's you can do so many things to your bike, more than you can to your car.
It's hard to believe that almost 50% of the motorcycles on the road in America right now are Harley Davidsons.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I mean,
And I would venture to say no two Harley Davidsons are identical.
Sure. No Road King are going to look identical. Nothing. Everyone's done something to them. That's that is the beauty of it. Is Indian still making motorcycles?
They started making motorcycles again. Yes, they're still making them.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear too, because that's quite a tradition as well in the motorcycle world. Man, Brooks, I got to tell you, so I love in the Super Friends chat over the Christmas holidays. We had Ty and Scotty Hare even popped in. Holy shit! And of course Ian and others. And I love what you said. You know, staying on the positive tip for 2026. You had some great words of not just encouragement, but just positivity for 26. I loved it.
I think 26 is going to be an amazing year. I mean, put it this way, the global syndicate's going to have to do something really terrible to stop this year from happening. This is, this has been 5 years in the making to make this year happen. President Trump, in his second term, where he was serving in exile, he worked on this every single day, planning and putting his staff together and writing executive orders and getting his sequence of events mapped out. And then as soon as he got into office, within the first 100 days, he launched about 50% of what he had been planning for the previous 4 years. That was really going to be his second term.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, he didn't have his hands on the levers of power. So now in his third term, he does have his hands on the levers of power, and he's making America great again. And everybody can feel it. And some people don't like it because they want a communist state. They think that America is rich enough to support all of them without them having to do anything. Just be who they are. And that's just not the way the system works.
It's not the way it works. Not at all. Luckily, what will never cease to amaze me, those people that you talk about, Brooks, I guess because they're cloistered in certain communities, they believe somehow that they're the majority of the country, and it drives me it drives me batshit crazy.
It's true, and you use a good word, which is cloistered. A lot of people don't know where that word comes from. In the old days, when they built church complexes, they had monks, and the monks took a vow of poverty and chastity and all that stuff, and they just worked for the priest and the priests full time. That was their life. They dedicated their life to it. So in order to avoid temptation from the outside, like women, they would build cloisters, which means all the barracks were in a circle. And in the middle was the courtyard called the cloister. And what they did is they sealed the monks off from the outside world. There was no drinking, there was no women, there was no debauchery of any kind in the cloister. And so when the monks were praised for being so holy and taking this vow of poverty, the leaders of the church at that time, including Paul, said that's a cloistered virtue. It's worthless because it's not tested.
That's perfectly said. That's perfectly said. They, it's easy, even for those of us. Well, actually, it's not easy for those of us. People like you and myself and other people on the show and great audience members. When you're awake, you kind of see everything, and you take everything in. And those people, the cloistered people, they literally just they apparently only get information from certain areas, and somehow that's the world to them.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me, though. It is.
Well, you're right. I mean, they don't hear what we hear because they don't listen to the sources we listen to. They stay inside their little CNN, ABC, MSNBC bubble. And so all they hear is the hatred and the deception They don't know what's going on in the real world. They don't want to know what's going on in the real world.
Yeah, yeah, most certainly. And it's just that's a weird way. But when you're there's asleep people who would call themselves, maybe they vote more so-called conservatively, all this. They can stay cloistered as well. It's the those of us awake. It's just you want to take in everything, and I can see right through bullshit. When you're awake, you can see right through the bullshit immediately. So
Yeah, I mean, we know the pattern now when they
yeah,
deny, delay, uh, don't answer the question. We know the pattern. We've seen it before, and we pick it up right away. Right away. When we see what's going on in Minnesota, it doesn't take long before you can see what's going on in Ohio and Maine and even other states. It's like there is a whole society out there that has made a damn good living out of ripping off our government.
big time, big time. And you bring up Minnesota, holy shit! I mean, that's just over the top. The amount of dough that they have lost to the taxpayers.
Well, I don't know if you
and
saw the X story. There was a young man and his father who decided to do some citizen journalism, and what they did is they went around to the Somali daycare centers and acted like they wanted to register the young man's son for daycare. And there were no kids. There were no kids. They ran them off. They basically said, there are no kids here. And yet they were taking in millions of dollars a year in grants to watch kids. And his dad filmed the whole thing, and the boy and the dad produced it and put it out on X, and he's had, I don't know, 30, 40 million views on it. And everybody's saying, how is it that this independent citizen journalist for free did what CNN, 60 Minutes, NBC, MSNBC, even Fox, nobody could do it. But this kid broke the story wide open. And there are a lot of people going to be going to jail over this one.
huge, absolutely huge, and hilarious. Like you said, we're the new media.
We are now the mainstream media.
Yeah.
Yes, the global syndicate and what I call the global media empire. We used to call them the mainstream media. They're not the mainstream media. They haven't been the mainstream media since probably 2013. It's now us. And the only way they could stop us, really, the only way they could stop us, not by viewers. I mean, we have the viewers. Compared to them, we have way more viewers than they do. The only way they could stop us was to deplatform us and to make sure that we were not monetized. So Google bought YouTube and then shit canned all of us. There's probably 1,800 of us that they got rid of. And they thought by getting rid of us that the news would go away, that the independent news would go away, but it didn't. It went to other venues, and the other venues like Rumble and Twitch and DLive and Foxhole, they started climbing like crazy. Huge numbers of views and huge amounts of revenue because of advertisement. Finally, Google started feeling the financial pressure, and they gave us back our YouTube channels.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm sure we're still on Rumble. Now we're back on YouTube, but it's yeah, they it's a hell of a climb to build your listenership back on YouTube when you get
Yeah,
thrown
I
out
mean,
like we
at
did.
one time, I had about 25,000 active viewers on YouTube, and anytime I was on, I had 5,000 viewers live, anytime. Then they cut the cord, so to speak. They just deleted my entire channel, no explanation, no nothing. It broke, my estimation is about 2.5 million links broke when Google did that. And I'm not the only one. They did all kinds of people. They did even President Trump. They did them all. And what happened was they didn't realize this would happen. What happened was the viewers left with us.
Yep.
So we went over to Rumble and began rebuilding our audience, and that's where the viewers went. So now I have 5 times as many people on Rumble watching live as I do YouTube. Who would have ever thought that would have happened?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, same story here. I love telling that story every once in a while. we got a letter basically from YouTube, and it said reasons why they're getting rid of us. One of them was because we talk about 9/11 being an inside job. We have Ty Bollinger on, who tells you how to keep yourself healthy, type stuff. You know, he's crazy that he can tell you about cures and cancer prevention. Holy shit, it's just bullshit. And Dr. Agnew. It was all in the same letter, because Brooks Agnew, a physicist who believes in the Great One. You know, I'm paraphrasing, but I remember I sent you that. I sent it to Ty, and both of you just rolled your eyes and laughed. It's like, yeah, amazing. So, but hey, they're forced to put us back on now in a way. Maybe not forced, but it's the deal now.
Well, it was either that or become irrelevant, because
Right.
they came on in 2012 when we were talking about Benghazi and ISIS and all that stuff. And then when we influenced and won the 2016 election, that's when they realized they had to do something. They had to do something. And we caught them off guard in 2016. And so in 2018, they manipulated and stole Congress back. And then they started a 2-year impeachment plan to try to, cut President Trump off at the knees. It didn't work. He had a lot of momentum going. And then they stole the 2020 election. And we thought, well, everybody thought that the biggest crime of the century had just been committed. And now here we are 5 years later, literally with the proof that Georgia, Arizona, Pennsylvania, all these states that Biden mysteriously won at, in the wee hours of the morning, hours and hours and hours and hours after the polls closed, he actually lost by a big number.
Yeah.
So now they're counting Georgia in the win column for Trump. And that changes the electoral picture hugely. But the problem is, Chad, it's too late. Thousands and thousands of people are dead. 30% of Generation Z is dead or dying. 30%. You can't get that back. You can't just say, well, Biden, it was an illegitimate presidency. We're going to stop this Supreme Court nominee. We're going to stop these federal judges, these lawyers, or these U.S. attorneys, blah, blah, blah. So what? People are dead. The damage is done. You don't get that shit back.
Yeah. That's true. That's very, very true. It's and when you say Z, because of the elephant in the room, Generation Z.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about 350, 400,000 dead from fentanyl poisoning.
Yeah.
We're talking about massive numbers of myocarditis and clots.
From COVID-19 bullshit.
Yeah. And the jab.
Yeah.
What I just recently went with a cardiologist, they made assumptions. They made assumptions that I'd been vaccinated and they were going to find clots in me, and that's what was causing the problem. Well, I didn't have any clots. They went and cathetered me all the way to the heart and said, damn, where are the clots? I said, I was never jabbed. I don't have them.
Yeah, man. Listen, if Brooks took that shot, he'd never be on this show again.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not.
But you know what? You're right. And when I said elephant in the room, I figured that's what you were going with that with Gen Z. It's true. It's it's sad. It's
And it
interesting.
affected their, I don't know, it didn't just affect their hearts, it affected their brains too.
Oh yeah.
You try to offer them ivermectin in some way to detox their bodies from the spike proteins. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. It's like, no, I had the jab. I'm okay. I can't get that shit. And they get the flu every year.
There- there's a old joke. Chris Hanneman was like the best professional beach volleyball player from Florida. He's just the man, the legend. And I was hanging out in a hot tub with. Hey, you can think what you want, but it's beach volleyball. We're at a hotel. We're on the road, and a group of us were. Remember, Brooks? I got to drink when I was underage. Every player was way older than me, and but we're at the pool deck and we're hanging out on a Saturday night, 2-day tournament, and having some drinks in the hot tub. A group of us, and Chris Hanneman. Someone asked him about the fact that he and his partner had just beat recently Karch Kiraly and Kent Steffes, which were the #1 team in the world on the AVP tour, and one of the players, because there's a lot of different tours. This was a Cuervo tour tournament that we were playing, and he said one of the players asked Chris about qualifying, playing qualifiers and all that, and he didn't do it in a dicky way. It was just a funny, kind of arrogant way. He said, "Yeah, I remember when I used to have to qualify," and that joke kind of went a long way with a number of friends of mine from that, and it's so what you were talking about earlier. I was about to bring that joke up, and I just totally effing forgot what we were talking about. So that is totally my fault. I am known for derailing. But whatever we were talking about, I know we were talking about the shot and Gen Z. Holy shit, Chad, good job. And now we'll take a commercial break. I don't know, Brooks, it'll come back to me. I was going to use that joke. It's something like, I remember when I used to have to.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there we go. I remember when I used to have the flu. It's just an inside joke. I remember when I used to have the flu. I'm not being
arrogant. Do that anymore.
Yeah, you don't have to have the flu if you know what to do. You don't have to ever have a cold if you know what to do. I mean, you'll get exposed to the viruses, but you can get rid of them real quick. But
So, change the subject. What do you think about President Trump's Christmas present to Nigeria?
Pretty eventful.
Yeah. I mean, he postponed the attack on the Muslims that were killing the Christians. They knew exactly where they were. And he postponed it until Christmas Day because he wanted to send a message. And evidently, the strikes were so effective and so surgical that no one's even talking about collateral damage. Just the bad guys got killed.
It was it was beautiful. Immediately when I heard of it, I was like, exactly what you just said. I was hopefully this isn't going to be ridiculous with any collateral damage. And there you go. I think I'm sure they have. I'm sure they will. But I don't think the opponents of truth and liberty and a real president of the United States, those people have much of a leg to stand on about those strikes. but they'll find some way to bitch.
Yeah, oh, the bitching has been going on for sure. And of course, all this, ties back to the fraud that's been going on in Minnesota and Ohio and now Maine. And it's wow. And I was thinking, President Trump really wanted to send a message, a really powerful message, and really solidify MAGA and pull them back together. He should get Rubio and Mike Johnson together, and they should strip illegal Omar of her citizenship,
Nice.
seize all of the money that she's made since she's been an illegal congressman, seize it all $30 million of it, and then expel her from Congress because she's no longer a citizen, and then deport her back to Somalia to stand trial for her family's crimes when they escaped Somalia. And, to put this in perspective, they have stolen an equivalent amount of money as Somalia's gross domestic product. They stole enough to match the income of the entire country of Somalia.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. It's crazy. And illegal Omar, she shall be continued named illegal Omar, and it started right here on this show, and it's going to remain that way. We own it, and I can't believe Trump hasn't come up with that yet. It's crazy. But yeah, you're right. And I've heard through the grapevine a little bit that something like that's coming down the pike.
Well, like I said, it would re-energize MAGA. It would swing a lot of people who have lost faith in Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and the FBI and CIA. They've lost faith in our institutions, and they have the right to do that. And I think they're justified in losing faith. But it would do a lot to regain it if the administration would take that step, if they would expel her from Congress, strip her of her citizenship, seize all of her money, and then deport her from the country. And they could do it in one afternoon.
Yeah, most certainly. Brooks, like I said, I've heard it through the grapevine as well, and I think you might be onto something that is probably more reality than wishful thinking. I really do. You mentioned the FBI. Let me ask you, because I know Ian said something in the Super Friend chat briefly about it when I asked you guys, but Dan, it kind of happened under the radar during last week's show that we didn't broach the topic about Bongino leaving. What do you think about that?
Well, I kind of knew it was coming. Bongino doesn't want to draw attention to himself or his infirmities, but he has health problems, major health problems. And what he wants to do is spend the rest of his life with his family and speaking to the American people. He doesn't want to be hidden in the FBI. And there's a lot of stress in that job anyway. And most of the stress actually for him comes from the inaction of the Department of Justice. He is working his ass off trying to make these referrals and put these cases together and arrest people and manage grand juries, and nothing's happening. No arrests, no raids, no massive evidence seizures from the deep state. And that frustrates him. It frustrates him. So he gave it 6 good months, and now he's basically asking President Trump to leave, and he's gone. He'll be gone the first, I think, Monday. He's gone.
Yeah. I'm with you. I knew he had some health issues going on. Hell, a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and they didn't go away. They just are treating it. So when you have a limited amount of time on the planet, you don't want to be doing it in the trenches trying to put people away, and the soldiers, the officers that are supposed to do the putting, are not doing the putting. So you say, "Look, I gave you guys 6 months, no arrests. I'm out of here."
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I figured as much. I think you and Ian basically are saying the same thing with that, and it does have to be frustrating because I know he's a straight and narrow person, and let's get shit done because we can now, and people are shuffling their feet for whatever reason or reasons, which does not help the American people who are awake and want to affect real change towards a lot of these alphabet agencies. It doesn't give them confidence when they're doing some of the stuff they've been doing. So, but I understand also that that the tentacles run deep inside all these certain agencies, and that would take time as well. So, to clean everything up, but we should see a lot more results.
We should see some results anyway. I mean, I understand what a bureaucracy is, but I don't think that listeners know what a bureaucracy is. Uh, when you have the Latin word "crassy" behind it, like anarchy or monarchy, or uh, these words mean rule by. So, like, democracy is ruled by the people, anarchy is ruled by nobody, monarchy ruled by a sovereign one being, right? Well, a bureaucracy is a rule by bureaus. And this is what the Democrats wanted since they were formed in 1848. They did not want a strong president. They didn't want one guy with his, ideological finger in the air, pulling the nation wherever he wanted it to go. They didn't like Thomas Jefferson. They didn't like Alexander Hamilton. They didn't like Andrew Jackson. They hate President Trump because he's kind of those three rolled into one. No, what they wanted was bureaus. They wanted groups of committees and backup committees and their own police force and their own lawyers and their own judges to form these little vassaldoms inside our government. It's what the British always wanted, and it's what the Democrats have wanted since they were formed. And that's why, I know people aren't going to believe this, but that's why every single year, except for 40 years, since the nation was formed in 1787, Democrats have ruled Washington. Well, wait, we're almost 250 years old. Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. Democrats have run it for 210 years because they control the bureaus.
Yep. That's yeah, you're completely right, and it goes back obviously further than the 30s, but I'm still waiting for that Supreme Court justice ruling, and we'll see if we can finally.
Which one?
The one I forget her name, but the one to get rid of. I've talked about it before. We talked about it recently.
Action Jackson.
Executor Humphrey's executor from the 30s to basically let the executive branch fire people that are heads of independent agencies or bureaucracies.
Right.
To give that power back to POTUS. So that'd be a big step in because who's running the bureaucracies? You and I both know that's how the global syndicate can work inside the United States big time.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And just to let people know what the global syndicate is, it has 4 branches. Okay, it has a military branch, a political branch, it has an economic branch, and it has a media branch. Those are the 4 branches of the global syndicate, and they all work together. And depending on what crisis is happening at the time, it's hard to tell which one of those branches is the most powerful. Right now, it's the global media empire is very, very powerful. No one wants to mess with them. But there was a time when the financial empire was leading everything. I mean, they could murder whoever they wanted. They could sink ships to kill people. They could break the banks and crash the money supply. They can't do that now because private industry has blossomed to the point where they don't control that level anymore. But the military arm, thank goodness, President Trump is rebuilding the American military because that's the opposite of the global syndicate. But the British military and the Chinese military, and in some respects, I would say the European military, are the armed forces of the global syndicate.
Yes. Yeah.
And what do they like? War. What do they hate? Peace. They don't make any money. They don't have any power when there's peace.
Damn straight. Every puppet of the United States has done their bidding with wars, and we would have had it with Hitlerly. We would have had it with Kamala, whatever her name is. Yeah, big time.
Kamala.
Yeah, big time, and it's important for people to understand. It's a big deal getting rid of Humphrey's executor. It's a big deal to put a huge blow to the whole globalist agenda inside of this country. And
but the bureaus keep pushing it forward. Do you know that in the last, I believe it's 20 months in Texas, I think it might even be Houston or Dallas, CAIR, the CAIR, it's a Muslim organization of young people in this country. Do you know that they've built 45 mosques in the last 20 months in Texas?
That's right. Yeah, that's a little over the top.
Wow.
Yeah. That's interesting, isn't it?
I had Bridget Gabriel on my program, and we discussed this for a good 30 minutes. And she really opened my eyes. She read document after document after document. She opened my eyes as to how organized and how rich the Muslim organizations are inside this country and how focused they are to taking over this country.
They're trying to outpace China.
Yeah, well, China doesn't really like Muslims, and they don't treat Muslims very well. I think they kind of know where their bread is buttered, and it's not buttered by Islam.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Russia. I have friends that live in Moscow. I have friends that live in Almaty, Kazakhstan, and they both remark how increasingly you can hear the call to prayer over the speakers, just like you can in Dearborn, and the people don't like it, and the government doesn't like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's going to be. I think that's going to be wholly rejected here. I don't think Tejas is going to like it all that much.
I don't think so either. I know I was in Egypt one time, several times, but I was in Egypt one time, and we'd all come out of the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. And we were waiting for all the people to come out so we could load up the bus and go back to the hotel. So it was hot. It was probably 90 degrees outside, and we were tired, and it's been a long day already on buses and touring and stuff like that. But we're sitting on this low wall, by the bus, and the call to prayer happens, and it sounds wonderful. It's just peaceful and melodic and all that. And then that ends, and another voice comes on, and it is guttural and harsh and staccato. And I said to myself, I don't speak Farsi, but I know fire and brimstone when I hear it.
Well, yeah.
So I asked our guide, who was a female at the time, I said, what are they saying over the loudspeaker? What is it that they're saying? And she listened for a second, because you know how people just kind of tune out that stuff when it happens. She listened for, I don't know, 20, 30 seconds, and she said, we need to get back on the bus.
Huh.
So we all got on the bus and we headed to the hotel. The next day, the Arab Spring happened.
Oh.
And we barely got out of town. There were people in my group that got stuck and had to stay there for like 10 or 12 days because they couldn't fly out. There was too much riding. Like 4 or 5 of us that were with my group, we got out just in time, just before they took over the bridge.
Oh, big time. I had no idea you were that. I know you can get yourself into some sticky situations most interesting in the world.
Well, we got out of that one pretty easy. It was crazy because I'm watching the news and, you know, there's like 20,000 people on this bridge and they pick up by hand. They pick up one of the police armored vehicles and throw it over the side of the bridge.
Jeez Louise.
That was the Arab Spring. That's what they were talking about on the loudspeaker.
Yeah, it's good that you asked her to eavesdrop in and pay attention.
Well, you remember, just to give you another episode, do you remember, I believe it was, I'm trying to remember the city in Turkey where this happened. Hillary Clinton makes a message that Erdogan is on the run, and right now he's circling Istanbul asking for asylum. Well, it turned out not to be true. It turned out that he was in, was it Incirlik, I think it was? Anyway, then we have an airbase there, and it has nuclear weapons there. And what happened was they killed the internet. They just blocked out the internet. And within seconds, what happened is all the mosques started relaying battle strategies from loudspeaker to loudspeaker to loudspeaker to the street. And the people surrounded the airbase and were threatening to take it over. And that's when the Joint Chiefs flew there and, of course, changed the base commander. Like in 20 minutes, it was done.
Boom, boom. Yeah.
Because those nuclear weapons were at risk and they couldn't seem to keep these people off the airbase. But that's how they use the mosques. When the internet went out, they used the loudspeakers of the mosque to send the central message to the streets, to their soldiers, to get them to the airbase to surround it.
That's the communication right there. Wow. Yeah.
And I don't know if anybody out there knows what a mosque is or what goes on in a mosque.
Inside a
But
mosque.
one thing you don't find in a mosque: women. Not allowed. They have a separate section where the women go. Only the men go into the mosque and get the message, not women. It's a totally male-dominated religion.
Well, this is true. But my vision, Brooks, and you might differ with me, is that hopefully one day we'll have an America where every woman is wearing a burqa. Okay, just kidding.
That's not my vision.
No, not mine either. I may have been, yes, I was surreptitious. Not surreptitious, being facetious. I won't secretly tell you. Yeah, it's just not going to fly. It maybe in Dearborn for a little bit, but let me ask you, when you had your guest on, the guest, what was her name again?
Bridget Gabriel.
Bridget Gabriel. Did she go into, as far as who's funding? Is this coming from
Yes, that it's coming from Saudi Arabia. It's coming from, other wealthy benefactors into these nonprofits, and there are dozens of three-letter nonprofits that we're talking about here.
Mhm.
But the big ones that have, they're like the BLM of Islam. They're the rich ones. They're the ones that are building these mosques and strategically putting their command and control structure for their sleeper cells that are in this country. And they've already done it in Europe. I mean, Britain has already fallen. And
Uh-huh.
France, they canceled their Christmas market, the country's Christmas market, which was in downtown Paris and also in I believe Toulouse. They canceled them because the military, which by the way is about 30% deployed at any given moment in France, by the way, in France, they could not guarantee the people's safety. So they canceled the Christmas market because they were afraid Islam would attack it with bombs and knives and whatever.
This goes back to the beginning of the show, Brooks, with you saying that the uninformed, asleep people who are cloistered.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you not realize and see what's happening in much of Europe, period, with them allowing their natural population to be absolutely overrun, and the culture changing and shit just getting weird, you know? How can you not?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned culture changing because there are countries like Hungary, Poland, now Italy, who are saying no more refugees. And like Poland hasn't taken any at all, but now Italy has a big problem on their hands. They have a lot of refugees they got to get rid of. They got to send them back to North Africa. That's going to be hard to do. It's going to be hard to do. But Poland never let them in the first place. They have a fence and a wall, and they guard it, and their people love it.
Yeah.
They don't want these refugees in the country. And that, by the way, because Poland is in the EU, in this European Union, and Hungary and uh, uh, Serbia, it is splintering the European Union. So the union is coming apart and it's going back to the original nations that made up the EU. Switzerland's been isolated for a long time.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. That's. I mean, good luck. Good luck going over and becoming a citizen of Japan very easily. You know, it's.
Yeah, Japan has their problems. Japan has a very strict social structure.
Oh yeah.
It goes back 1,000 years. Women are regimented as boys are from the age of, I think, 3, and by the time they're graduating high school, it's ingrained in their genetics. They just don't deviate from it. The average Japanese man gets married at 30 years old. 30 years old. And that's because Japanese culture is first you have to have your career, your education, your career, your job, your security, your place. Then you get married or bring a woman into that.
Yeah, but they're keeping their culture. That Japan wants to stay Japan is what I'm saying. You know, and yeah, you're right. They have issues. I'm totally with you. But the overall, the asleep people in this country who just can't see what the f is going on in the rest of the world, especially over in Europe, and they're okay with it happening here. Those people are scared to live shit out of me. But here's a fact: if if which I've said over and over again on this show, if President Trump didn't have Providence and they took him out in Butler, for example, he didn't get back in. This country's would have been going that down that that terrain that landscape of changing the face of this country, you know, big time. We were already on that trajectory for 4 years
Sure.
after 2020. I mean, so
Yeah. The same thing would have happened to this country that happened in 1964. After Kennedy was assassinated, there was no voice of reason. There was no voice of conservatism in Washington, D.C. It went completely liberal. Johnson basically bought the black race, lock, stock, and barrel. And where are we now? 3 generations since then, and the Democrats have not let anyone go. Everyone is still enslaved. Who was I listening to the other day? They were talking about. It was the Indian woman from Hawaii. What is her name? Jayapal, or whatever her name is, a senator from Washington, or from Hawaii.
from Hawaii.
And she was talking about deporting illegals. She said, you need to be careful because look at your dinner plate and look at all the food. Who's going to pick that food if we deport all them? I just about pissed my pants. I mean, she's basically advocating for racial slavery.
Right.
And that's what we have. We have more slaves in this country right now than have ever lived in this country. And Jayapal and other radical leftists like her, AOC, they're fine with it. They're fine with 11 million slaves in this country.
Yeah, and so are those cloistered mothers. I'll
Oh my
clean it up.
gosh.
You know, they're good with it, but we're the racist, Brooks. We're the insensitive people, Brooks. I love that. I love that you bring that up because that's so true. I roll my eyes every time I hear one of those politicians say something such as that. Who's gonna clean your toilets?
Exactly.
You know?
Who's going to cut your grass? Who's going to rake your leaves? Golly, look at all these neighborhoods that have, homeowners associations. The neon yellow T-shirts show up at 7 o'clock in the morning and they work till sundown, mowing grass, distributing pine needles, raking leaves, and they never say a word to anyone.
Yeah. And then some of them go and get drunk and kill people. But anyway, no story. But no, you're right. You're right. It's but here's the deal. Take people are going to get their toilets cleaned if we don't have a bunch of illegals in here.
They have to clean their own toilets.
Yeah, farmers, whether it's local farmers, independent farmers, and big agri, they're going to get their crops picked and taken care of without illegals. It's just that will happen, and people's lawns are going to get manicured. Either way, so it's just it's hypocritical completely by these people.
Oh yeah.
Big time. So anyway, no, we're illegal aliens now in this country, not your migrant bullshit. And it's Merry Christmas again in this country, not your happy holiday bullshit. Deal with it.
Yeah. And when you think about people that take the position that if you cross the border illegally, it's some kind of civic problem, No, it's a felony. If you come in this country, you overstay a visa, you smuggle yourself and your kids or whatever into this country over the border illegally and try to take advantage of our society, that's a felony. And there's no due process, by the way. When you're caught, You either prove your citizenship or you go home.
Yep. Yep. Very well said. I couldn't find it right now. I'd have to look for it. You probably saw it. It's like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. This guy did this incredible video. It's hilarious as shit. It's a white guy. It's an American white guy, dude. And but he's got the get up on. He's the video is just so well done. He's crossing. He's talking while he's hiking, out in the middle of nowhere, and his goal is he's going to cross the United States border into Mexico, and then I'm going to return as an illegal immigrant to get the benefits. It's so well done. I have to find it for you and send it to you, Brooks. That video was just hilarious. It will offend certain people, but not those of us who probably listen to this show and consume other shows such as this, your show as well, obviously. I'll have to send it to you. Talking about sending stuff to you. Keith Temple has your gift sent out to you in transit.
Wow, okay.
And mine, I just got your address last week. Finally, Brooks, thank you. So it's being made and shall get to you post obviously Christmas now.
Oh, speaking of making stuff, my daughter had this really cool. See this ornate A over here? It says Agnew.
I don't have the screen in front of me right now.
It's laser cut out of steel and painted black. And my daughter had this made for me.
Nice.
It's so thoughtful. It's now on my Expert Radio wall.
That's a cool thing. No, that's a cool gift right there. I'm having something made for you too. But yeah, that sounds really awesome. It really does. The A is for Agnew.
That's right. There can be only one.
Only one. Most interesting man in the world. He drinks Heineken, not Dos Equis. I do like Dos Equis, don't worry. But yeah, there's a lot. So I do want to say something real quick. Talking about with Christmas and New Year's and all this, and we'll say some more, I guess. But want to thank a long time listener. When I say long time listener, Brooks, I'm talking about March of 2009 listener who's been with us for a long time. He knows who he is. His name is Paul, and it was really. I texted you back, Paul. It was really cool hearing from him. He let me, said Merry Christmas to me and everybody, and Brooks. He's such a long time listener. You know what Double A and I did like 5-6 years ago. Whenever the new Star Wars movie came out, we took Paul to see the Star Wars movie. When the one with where they killed Han Solo. But I just want to say, give Paul a shout out on air because he's been listening for such a long time, and great guy. I think he's still fighting it out in Atlanta, Georgia. There, Brooks.
Oh, wow.
I think. I don't
Front
know.
lines.
Yeah. We got Scotty behind enemy lines in Connecticut, and we got listeners behind enemy lines here and there, all over the place. But Paul, you're a great dude, and thanks for all the years of you listening and all that. There's a lot to, like you said, 26 is going to be rocking. It's going to be awesome, and 47's everything. I mean, he hasn't even scratched the surface in a lot of ways. So when our friend Roger Stone comes on early next year, which I know you've been waiting for him for a long time, there's a lot of stuff to be put into play still with even stuff such as Extortion 17 and his promise to Charles Strange about that, which leads to a lot of other shit. So, and that leads to the people who want war, as you said earlier.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of people's necks on the chopping block, possibly, and all this, and there's multitude of reasons that they hated the hell out of him. Even before, the fact that he ran in 2016, they hated the hell out of him, let alone him getting in and everything that's happened thus far, because there's a lot of evil pieces of shit people that
Oh yeah.
that know that he knows. So it's that's why the resistance was so strong of him ever even being in 2016, let alone continuing. But we'll have a lot to discuss with Roger as far as that stuff.
Well, it's funny you bring up Star Wars. The writers of especially episodes 1, 2, and 3, and then for sure the writers of Andor, which was a 2-season drama that led up to Rogue One. And Rogue One was right before A New Hope,
Yeah.
right? Episode 4, where they blew up the Death Star. Well, those Death Star plans came from all that effort with Andor and Cassian Andor serving, or at least fighting through that series called Andor, and then Rogue One, which was the movie right before A New Hope. So the interesting thing is to see the metamorphosis of the Empire and the Rebel Alliance, which later they called the Resistance, but it wasn't really the Resistance in those days. It was the Rebel, right? They were called rebels.
Yeah.
And they were not centralized. They didn't have a central leader. That was part of their problem. But it was skirmishes, individual skirmishes here and there around the galaxy. And when you see the behavior of the Empire, they're like the Democrats. Very regimented, tons of bureaucracy, tons of in Cassian Andor, in the series Andor, there's this female lead who plays kind of a, I don't know, bungling Empire investigator, but she's looking for Cassian Andor. Anyway, she reveals that she was raised in a Kinderblock. She was raised in a Kinderblock, which is exactly what the Democrats want to do. They want to raise kids in a Kinderblock so that when they're adults, they do exactly what they're told to do by the Empire, and they don't have any thoughts other than doing the Empire's bidding.
Yeah.
And then when you hear about the Rebel Alliance and the way that the Rebel Alliance begins to come together into a cohesive force, and a fighting force, not the force, but a fighting force. And this is what the Empire fears. The Empire fears large groups of private individuals coming together to fight them in space and on planets. And so they actually build the Death Star, this planet-destroying weapon, so they can mercilessly just explode an entire planet into particles in space in order to strike fear into the Rebel Alliance. Oh yeah, if you speak out against us and spread disinformation, this is what we're going to do. Right? So all that stuff resonates with people. That's why, people are Star Wars fans. And I don't think anybody's a fan of the Empire. But a lot of times they don't get it. They don't get that the global syndicate is the Empire. That's
Exactly.
the analog That's what makes Star Wars so endearing to people, is because the Empire is the global syndicate.
Exactly. Exactly. It's when you're awake, you see that quite clearly. You know, you're
Well,
right.
that's what makes stories great. I mean, you have an enemy and some insurmountable problem, and it's a very close analog to what is going on in real life, like the Marvel comics. A lot of people didn't realize that, there were 34 Marvel movies, Spider-Man, Iron Man, I mean, Thor, all these movies led toward this Infinity War that they fought, right? Against Thanos, who was this arch villain. So Thanos builds this gauntlet that he puts on his hand, and he ends up putting the 6 Infinity Stones on it, which gives him the power to kill, instantly vaporize half the population of the galaxy. And how does he do it? He snaps his fingers like that.
Mm.
But the gauntlet is on the left hand. It's on the left hand. So the Super Friends, kind of a
Yep.
analogy there. The Super Friends, they also build a gauntlet, a special gauntlet, and they get pieces of the Infinity Stones, except their gauntlet's on the right hand. And when Iron Man snaps his fingers, all those people come back to life. But it's interesting to see the left hand and the right hand between Thanos and Iron Man.
That's you know what, and that's what it is, especially with the left and right. Interesting, and something that I have not picked up on, but that is very interesting. And like you said, it's been there with Star Wars for a long, long time. I remember when I first, did the whole waking up thing, and all of a sudden, the world's fucking scary because
Yeah,
it's not as
yeah,
advertised.
exactly.
It's so different than what you grew up thinking, and that's right. Once I was waking up to the whole global syndicate, this whole globalist order, I'm like, holy shit. I
And the
saw
weird
Star
part
Wars a
is,
totally different way.
you have lefties who see that you get it, and then they criticize you by saying, "What you think Star Wars is real?
Ah,
Are you a complete idiot?" And then you're going, "Oh my gosh,
no.
you don't see it, do you?"
Yeah.
George Lucas and the writers of the Star Wars series, the 6 movies and uh, Andor and Rogue One, they were all coordinated toward one giant picture. And when you see it as an adult, watch it multiple times, listen to the lines, look at the analog between what's going on in the movie and what goes on in the power structures of government. You get it.
Mm-hmm.
You understand. And not all the Marvel movies are, as I would say, in your face as, say, Captain America. Captain America, the writers of Captain America are very political and they're very right wing, and they put it right in your face. Their other movies, it's more subtle, and it actually comes down to the Infinity War and the end game, and that's where you begin to put all the pieces together. And it's quite moving when you go to Iron Man's funeral and the cameras panning through the faces of all the people there, and you look at their composure and their reverence for Iron Man and what he stood for and Tony Stark and all that. It's quite moving. It is very moving.
Yeah. Big time. Big time. Us talking about this right now makes. I mentioned him earlier. We might see him make an appearance here and there sometime next year. Double A, who was on the show for about 9 years.
Wow.
I heard from him out of nowhere. It's been like a couple of years, Brooks. So it was good to hear from him, and so who knows? He might make an appearance. And the reason why I'm bringing him up again right now is because, holy shit, Brooks, he he knows all these movies so damn well.
Well, it's good to be able to analyze this and
Oh yeah,
compare it, which we used to do with literature anyway. In the old days, it was, Charge of the Light Brigade, which is a tremendous poem and prose. If you go to read it out loud, it's very moving to, see Tennyson do this wonderful work. But then go back and read the Greek classics, which are written that way, and you begin to even see bigger analogies between or analogs between what went on then and what's going on now. And you
sound
realize, damn, it's the same people.
yeah,
It's the same people. The people that killed Christ, the people that caused the Civil War, the people that did the 30 Years War. I call it the 30 Years War, which is from 1915 to 1945.
yeah.
It's one war. We just took a pause in the middle so that the industrialists could reload, but it was one war over the same damn thing. And I'm not even sure we got victory from it. I mean, yes, we sort of defeated the Nazis and made them run for the hills, and we chased them for 2 decades after that. But I don't know if we beat them. I mean, look what's going on in Ukraine. That's the same
It's
people.
the same people, yeah. Yeah. But it's the same people. Hell, Vietnam. Come on. It's the same people.
It is. The same people took the towers down. The same people tried to kill Trump. I mean, it's the same people. I don't mean the same organization or the same race, even. I mean, it's the same souls that have been reincarnated over and over and over again, and they do this wicked shit every generation.
Yep.
You look at the signature, look at the verbiage, look at the way, the mercilessness with which they kill. It's the same people. It's not new people every time. It's the same ones.
Yeah, I like how you explain that. Yep, and and you're right. There's a signature. There's a signature to every one of those instances, whether it's an event or a war. There's that signature there.
It's like a serial killer. They were Sadducees. They were Pharisees. They were all the way back to the beginning of recorded history. It's the same souls. That's why you can't beat them. That's why the Clintons and the Obamas, you can't beat them because they are immortal in the sense that they just take on another body and they come back again.
The Bushes, all of them, all of them. I tell you what.
Oh, Gore and Fauci and
Oh, sure.
all those guys. They're all the same soul. So how do you beat them? Well, maybe keep them alive and put them in prison so they can't die and come back as somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
You have them trapped in that mortal body until they take a dirt nap.
Yeah, let's keep them on the dictator's diet. Keep them alive forever. Jeez Louise. So are we remiss if we don't, before we move on to something else, are we remiss, do the listeners get pissed off if we don't give our view on Russia's latest strike in the Ukraine? Or does
Well, I'm not familiar with the latest strike in Ukraine, but the tactic of using apartments to launch attacks, it doesn't work with the Russians. The Russians don't put up with that shit. Okay, you're launching from the rooftop of an apartment building. They're gonna blow the apartment building up.
Exactly.
And the cameras are gonna be rolling. Everybody in the apartment is gonna die. But that's the way the Nazis worked. That's the way they've always worked.
Well,
You know,
that's what
when
happened.
we
So you're
won
good.
World War II, we won with a tactic called carpet bombing because we didn't have the nuclear weapon. We carpet bombed Marienburg, Plosti for fuel, Marienburg for ball bearings. I mean, we bombed the town. We killed everybody. We bombed it day and night. Nighttime with the Lancasters, daytime with the B-17s, around the clock. We bombed every square foot of those towns. That's how we beat them. We killed everybody.
Yep. No, you're right, Brooks. I mean, that's basically the strike was a response to basically exactly what you said. So, you know, sometimes I wonder if some people are like, you guys didn't talk about this. You didn't talk about that. Well, we can't talk about everything. And plus, we want to entertain ourselves.
Yeah, I don't think you understand, or I don't think the listeners understand, because that they're watching MSNBC and CNN and blah blah blah, and they all hate Russia, and they've been trying to destroy Russia since the '60s.
Russia's been fighting the global syndicate forever.
Yeah, exactly. Russia does not play that game. They are against the global syndicate. In fact, I think the last meeting that Putin and Trump had together, I swear, if I had ears, this is what was said. Putin said in the plainest language he could, look, we have the same enemy.
Yes.
We are fighting the same enemy. You and I, America and Russia, we're fighting the same enemy. They want us to fight each other. I don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Let's destroy the enemy.
Damn straight. Damn straight. You know, there are people, I'm sure you've seen it, if you the people who, if I'm trying to talk to them about something, they're not awake, they're not on the page. I say that to them, that Russia's fighting the globalist agenda too. You know, they're like, the fuck you talking about?
Yeah, that's right. They do.
I'm absolutely nuts, Brooks.
And then you don't know whether to get frustrated and say, "Oh my God, where have you been living?" And then you got to slow down and you got to have mercy on them and you got to lead them one little baby step at a time until finally they see it.
Yep.
And a lot of times they don't want to see it. They have it set in their mind that Russia needs to be wiped off the face of the earth. But let me tell you something. Listen very clearly, all of you out there. There is no earth without Russia. Russia has been around for thousands of years, and they're going to be around for thousands of years. And to think that there is going to be a time when Russia is broken back up into a bunch of little Baltic states, and the European Union is going to get to pick and choose which one they get to put in their jewelry box, you're fooling yourself. That is never, ever going to happen.
Very, very true. I agree with you 100%, Brooks. Yep, that's the deal. And the sooner people, well, listen, waking people up is hard to do. Certain people are wired a certain way, in my opinion. You'll never wake them up, but
it's true. It's true. I look at the judge. Well, look at the Supreme Court, who recently ruled that President Trump does not have the authority to override a governor and send in the National Guard to protect federal property.
Yeah.
The governor can say, you keep the National Guard out of our state. You can't protect your federal buildings except with your FBI, not even the CIA. It's got to be FBI or federal agents. That's the only people that can protect the federal buildings. You can't send in the National Guard to protect federal property. I don't know where they came up with that idea that it's posse comitatus. I don't see how it could be. The president has always controlled the National Guard since 1875. When Jefferson passed the law, he did so. Actually, it was kind of opposed to the Supreme Court, but he made the case. Jefferson made the case that there were British nationals alive and well in this country. And believe me, they had money and they had influence and they had education. And there were a lot of Brits that still lived in this country. And he effectively made the case that they could put together a military and they could come and overthrow the presidents. They could take over the White House and kill the president and take over the country. And so Jefferson said, I have to have sole, unchallenged control over the DC National Guard so I can muster an army to protect myself against insurrection. And they passed the law. And the president has had that power ever since. For the Supreme Court to step in and say, no, the president doesn't have that power when it comes to federal property in another state, only Washington, D.C., which isn't a state, is just blows me away. It just and it was a 6-3 vote too. 6-3.
Yeah, I'm with you, and especially I don't. Did they cite it being posse comitatus violation?
Yes.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah, in their opinion, they mentioned posse comitatus and said we have to avoid it at all costs, and the president sending in, armed troops to back up law enforcement to protect federal property. That's a violation of posse comitatus.
Well,
and that's an interpretation that's going to stick for generations.
Yeah. It might end up being good in case we get some horrible puppet back in. But I say then, cities like Chicago are going to continue to. They're not going to fix themselves, Brooks. They just refuse to fix themselves.
No, and the people, for some reason, are incapable of electing a mayor and a governor that will be American.
Yeah, it's crazy. And Chicago, what you talk about? Great areas, great food. It can be a beautiful city and all this, but holy shit, you gotta have you gotta listen. I don't have I don't have it up. I think maybe I'll remember to get the latest one for next time we're chatting. But Chicago, just this year alone, the amount of people who have been shot.
Oh my gosh!
It's not law, and the amount of law enforcement who have shot people is it's very, very few versus the thousands who have been shot by themselves.
Oh yeah. It's like 50 per weekend.
It's crazy. Just crazy. That's and you're right, but the same people, somehow they're good with that, and it's okay, and we're gonna reelect, these weird ass mayors, like the one they have right now. That guy's a piece of work. I forget his name.
He is.
He's got a stupid beard that annoys me. I don't know.
Well, I didn't think they could do any worse than the last mayor, but they did.
Oh yeah, that chick. Was it the Lightfoot chick?
Yeah, Lightfoot.
Yeah. They just continued. Well, I mean, hey. They continue with problems. You got the Chicago Bears thinking about going to Indiana.
The Bears are rocking it this year. My gosh, who would have thought?
They're kicking ass, are they?
So are the Panthers. I mean, tomorrow,
hey, the
Panthers play the Seahawks.
Jacksonville's doing pretty damn good too.
Yeah, and everybody thinks that the Seahawks are going to walk through the Panthers, but wouldn't it be remarkable if the Panthers beat the Seahawks? Oh wow, talk about upsetting the playoffs.
It'd be huge right there. And folks, Brooks is not a Panther fan. Just kidding.
I gotta be. I mean, I've lived here since 9/11, so
yeah,
I'm faithful Panther fan.
I root for the Jags. I was telling producer and webmaster Tony before airtime. I root for the Jags when I watch them because I usually watch it with if I'm watching them, I'll watch it with Dick Johnson, and he's a huge Jaguar fan. But I was a huge as a little kid growing up. I was always a huge Dan Marino Miami Dolphin fan.
Oh yeah,
Loved the hell out of the Dolphins. I mean, he was just fun. He was so damn fun to watch play. Dan was.
you never had him down. You never had him down. He could always throw that long pass, and then if he wasn't throwing that, he was running on you.
Yeah, he was so damn exciting. Him and Favre were just so fun to watch play. But
The thing about Brett is his arm was so strong. I mean, literally, he could be running backwards and fire that ball 40 yards in the air.
yeah, big time. Yeah, this is true. This is true. Hey, before tonight's the end of tonight's program, Brooks, I wanted to make sure because you showed off some of your guitars last week.
I did.
Do you have? But I couldn't see the screen at the time. I have to go watch the show back.
Oh,
But you have a Epiphone there, a Gibson?
no, well, one's a Gibson and the other's an Ibanez.
Okay.
So I have a Gibson Les Paul. It's a little older, but I played a guitar, I don't know, back when I was in college, and I got pretty good at it. And then that guitar just went away. It just got sold and went away. So I about 5 years ago set a goal to try to find that guitar or one exactly like it. And I went through a few and I finally found that one. It was the same color, same pickups, and I've got it tuned perfectly. And I got my pedal board. I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different effects on my pedal board.
You got a wah-wah?
Synthesizers, distortion,
Nice.
all that stuff. And I just like playing for myself, And then my 12 string, which is the Ibanez, and it's a really nice electric 12 string hollow body.
Nice. When either way, it's going to happen. We bring you here. We got to write a song together.
All right, I like writing music.
Hell yeah, man. So do I. As you know,
I have 7 songs on Spotify, and of those 7, I think 3 of them have music videos out there.
I'm gonna have to check out Spotify. Just writing myself a note.
I just put in my name in Spotify, and they'll come up.
Okay.
And they're all originals. I wrote the music and the lyrics.
Nice. Yeah, that'd be cool. Sit there and come up with 1 or 2 tunes. Who knows? An Agnew Host Claw original.
Right.
That'd be too cool. Yeah, see, we're continuously finding stuff out about each other. I mean, I knew you were into music. I didn't know you had a little bit of a guitar collection going on, and so that's too cool. Folks, Brooks and I have only known each other since 2009.
I used to have a Prophet 5 keyboard, but that also went the way of auction. And a Prophet 5, you can't find them anymore. I mean, yeah, you can find them, but they're used and beat up and been on the road a lot. Prophet 5 had a set of voices that few keyboards have. There's some keyboards out there that kind of match that sound, but wow, what a way to write atmospheric music.
Oh, come on! I don't play the keyboards, but I can believe it. I'm a big Pearl Jam forever has had this guy who's toured with them, Boom Gasper, He plays the Hammond B3.
Oh, I like the Hammond.
Yeah, man, he kicks
That
ass.
Leslie sound is
Yeah,
can't match it.
no, it's incredible, and I watched him just go off on just trading licks back and forth with Mike McCready one night on stage was just incredible. The lead guitar back to the Hammond B3. It was too cool. Yeah, that's a thing to play. I'm sure you'd get a kick out of it.
Oh yeah, my favorites were Emerson, Lake and Palmer,
Yeah,
Keith Emerson. I liked Rick Wakeman as well with Yes. But you know, I've watched Yes 6 times in concert since 1973. Different keyboard player each time, and I liked them all. They were all fantastic and had, you know, great equipment. Great equipment.
you ever get into the talk about with the keyboards? They didn't have a bass player, but they had the keyboard basically the Doors.
Oh, the Doors, right.
Yeah.
Well, the Doors were mostly focused on the singer,
Yeah,
David, you know, Morrison, and he really carried the Doors. It wasn't a masterful musicianship with the Doors. There were some interesting fugues that they did, but mostly it was the singer.
yeah. So, I mean, Doors is a band that's always going to be up there. But I just always thought it was interesting how basically the keyboardist was the bass player versus
Well, the
having
keyboardist that really lit up a band, I mean, made the band, it was a bunch of teenagers, and they had several albums, but one song that absolutely blew the 60s away. And it was funny because when they recorded it, they came into the studio and they recorded it live, and the organ player was phenomenal. The guitar player was a little raspy, but the vocals were what really, you know, drove the band home. But the keyboards were amazing. Anyway, they recorded it and they left. And the producer liked the live version so much, but he didn't have a name for the song. So he sent a message out to them, you know, please call me back and tell me what the name of the song is. So the singer calls back on a payphone and he posed the question to him. I like the song. I want to produce it. It's long, but I like the song. I want to produce it. What's the name of the song? And he said, the name of the song is In the Garden of Eden. But the producer heard on the payphone, In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. And that's was the name of the song. When it came out on the album, In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, it was supposed to be In the Garden of Eden, and it's Adam singing to Eve. That's what the song is about. But the keyboards are amazing in that song.
They are, and that's a great story. I can follow up with you on that.
It's funny, the drum solo in that piece also is very famous, but the guy was a high school band drummer, and you could hear the band march in the music, you know, doom doom sick doom doom sick doom doom sick doom doom sick. Every high school in the country plays that rhythm.
Yeah,
That's where it came from.
I was about to hear the horns come in behind that beat right there.
You know, that way digga 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 dig doom doom digga 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 doom bum bum. You know, that's a drum line of a high school band.
Real quick, I had a girlfriend. It was a number of years ago. I'm not talking about Kayla, but this is a good number of years ago. She would drive me absolutely fucking bonkers. She'd sit out on the balcony and for hours watch marching band shit.
Oh yeah.
It showed.
Yeah, all my kids were in marching band. And that's why I like college ball more than pro ball. It's the marching bands. I mean, that's the difference between watching a college game and watching a pro game.
Uh, oh yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not banging on anybody. My brother was in the marching band, but just hearing them, it's like, how does that entertain? That's all you listen to. You're just watching a marching band. But I wanted to tell you, Brooks, when you coming up with the name of that song, you might know this. I was listening to an interview with Stevie Nicks, and she was telling a story of how she came up with the song "On the Edge of 17," which is a great song, just
Mhm.
incredible song. And so she's hanging out with Tom Petty and his wife. You know, this is back in the day, and of course Tom Petty is he's from Gainesville, Florida, and so is his wife, and she has a really thick Southern accent, and Stevie asked Tom's wife, when did you guys meet? And with her thick accent, she said at the age of 17, but with her thick accent, Stevie heard on the edge of 17. And so she just got she loved the name, and she was like, that'd be a great name for a song. So that's how
Yep.
she started thinking about a song called "On the Edge of 17." On the edge of 17, at the age of 17. Um, those are cool stories. How certain song ideas come along. You know,
Yeah.
song
Yeah.
ideas, song titles, all of that.
Yeah. I have written a lot of lyrics to music that didn't have lyrics before, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. But I've also taken 5 of my poems and I've turned them into songs.
Yeah, yeah. That's how I started. I was writing poems at first, and yeah,
I wrote a lot. I published them as a book because people ask me about them all the time, and so I didn't want to. I mean, some of them have sold, but usually what I do is I print up a bunch of them. It's a thin book, and I give them away at conferences. You know, if they buy 2 books, I'll give them the book of poetry for free.
nice. Yeah, that's I can't wait. We're gonna collaborate, Brooks.
I
Me
like it.
me writing a song with the most
You know,
interesting
I
name
don't
in
know
life.
many people my age that still create. I mean, they play, they copy, but they don't still create. And I still have the creative drive inside of me, like creating this house. Um, you know, now it's almost done. Well, it is done. We're living in it, but you know, little things like
Yeah,
finishing out the drawer sets in the closet and stuff like that. It's just one weekend polish after another. Today we were trimming windows out, and the windows look amazing, absolutely amazing. So the whole bottom story's done, and now we're going to start on the top story.
nice. Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous, and I know Keith's gonna force me to go over there. I want you
Uh,
I want you to get here first, and Keith's like, we gotta go, we gotta go. Well, yeah, we'll bring Brooks here first.
yeah, we'll
But
do that.
yeah, it'll be too cool. Be too cool. Uh, Brooks, I guess. Well, what are we looking at? We'll get
We
out of
got
here.
17 minutes.
Yeah, we can getting out of here fairly soon, if you want. But there's a lot of. I want to wish everyone, Happy New Year's, all that. Prosperos años y felicidad. Happy New Year's in advance, and we'll cross our fingers that Scotty Hare's gonna make it back. Maybe start the new year with us. Wouldn't that be cool?
Would be.
Yeah, yeah. Might see an appearance next year from a Mehmet Avenger. It was, if you're listening, Ken, it was good talking to you. Don't be such a stranger. But I don't blame him. There's I think a lot of us were devastated after the election, the 2020 shit that went down. But as we talked about, Brooks, it's worked out for the better that we have him now.
Well,
instead of
sort of. I
yeah,
mean, yeah, we want to go back and give the win to Trump, but then what do you do? Say, well, all of his executive orders, all of his laws, all of his actions, and all Biden's actions can then be expunged. So what? I mean, so what? Look, you can't get those lives back. Those people are dead. They're just dead. I mean, the fascists killed and maimed and injured so many people, and you can't get that back. That's why it's so important. We have to stop that from happening again.
oh, yeah. That's it. I have empathy for people, obviously, and so do you, and all this, and it just still kills me when I see someone effing
Yep.
wearing a mask. Just drives me nuts.
I've told this analogy before, but it's like having a marathon. As a presidency, a presidential race is a marathon. And all the runners line up and they shoot the gun and the runners take off. Well, it doesn't take very long before a group of runners are in the lead, right? And the rest of everybody's stretched back for miles, right?
Right.
Biden is in that group, but obviously was not running. Not running. What he did is he took a few steps and then walked over and got on a shuttle bus. And the shuttle bus drove him around for a couple of hours, waited for the leaders to get pretty close to the last turn, before they come down for the ribbon. And the bus pulled up pretty close to the ribbon and lets Biden off. And he takes a few steps and breaks the ribbon with his chest. And the media says, we have a winner.
Right.
And anybody that denies it, we will destroy you. You're an election denier. We will impeach you. And that's how Biden won. Biden never ran the fucking race. He took a shuttle bus to the finish line and stepped off. And then they ran the cameras.
Yep. That goes back to the cloistered fucks, Brooks. I want to be nice. How did they not see that?
Oh, we all saw it.
Yeah.
Everybody saw it. But the global media empire was so powerful. And by that time, of course, they'd stolen Congress back. In 2018, they stole Congress back. So what could you say? You couldn't say anything. They would destroy you. They would seize your business. They would take your driver's license away, your business license away. They would lock up your bank accounts. Nobody could say anything. How many people did they dump off the internet? 20,000, 30,000? They deplatformed, just eliminated their accounts. Done. You're an election denier. Done. Misinformation. Done.
Yeah. Cancel.
We all knew. Everybody knew. But we couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah. Hell, they went after just about everybody. And the kitchen.
I mean, Trump called up the governor of Georgia and said, what the hell is going on down there? We were winning by like 300,000 votes at midnight. How did Biden win with 11,000 votes more than me? That's impossible. Check it out. And the governor said, sorry, you're shit out of luck, Trump.
Yeah, and like you said, now it's pretty much undeniable.
Mm-hmm.
And
315,000 mail-in ballots in sequential order. They mysteriously arrived in the mail in the order we sent them out. Jesus Christ, people.
How much horse hockey are you going to buy?
I mean, it's so simple to solve this. Vote once, in person, with ID. 1, 2, 3. Purple finger, done. Problem is over. Problem is fixed.
ID.
Vote once in person with ID.
ID?
Finished.
Brooks, not everyone can have an ID.
Oh my God. That's the most racist thing I've ever heard in my life. Black people are too dumb to have ID. What the hell are you talking about?
Isn't that
Democrats are out of their fucking minds.
No shit. Yep. It's that, or like we were talking about, who's going to clean your toilet? They're totally out of their fucking minds. Just absolutely crazy. No, you're right. It's that simple. In person with an ID. Holy shit. Holy shit.
Don't talk to me about reparations. We already did that in 1878. It was done. You missed it. It happened already. And don't tell me that I have to make up for it because I'm white. My ancestors fought in that damn war to free your people. How dare you insult them and tell them now, because I'm descended from them, I have to pay you more money? Not going to happen.
Nope. That I've been over that reparations thing since I was a kid. It's been
Either
going on
that,
so damn long.
Chad, either that or write the damn check.
Right.
Want $300,000? Fine. Write $300,000 checks to everybody that's got a little shade to their skin and be done with it. I guarantee you in 2 years' time, all that money will be back in the hands it's in right now.
Yeah, and it won't stop, but the next generation needs reparations.
Wow.
Like, no. I think everybody's good. I think everybody, the opportunity's here for everyone.
Absolutely. I mean, look what the Somalis have done. They've been here barely since Obama, and look how they've done. They sent more money to Somalia in 1 year than the entire gross domestic product of the country of Somalia.
That's just it's quite an amazing task, actually.
It is actually quite a success story, isn't it?
Very nice scam. Yeah. Jeez Louise. But illegal Omar, I'm with you, Brooks. I need to look this up. I think I saw something from another dude that I watch, and he was mirroring what you were saying as far as there being some movement towards illegal Omar having to face the facts.
Like I said, they'll go over it one more time. Strip her of her citizenship, seize all her money, expel her from Congress, and put her on the next jet out of here.
Over to Great Britain.
I promise you'll never hear from her again.
Probably not. Probably not. She'll thrive in Britain and become prime minister.
Oh yeah, she'll be right next to Greta Thunberg. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, I haven't heard.
Got no money, but getting arrested every other week.
You talking about exploiting the hell out of a kid like that? The way you're talking about evil. Those evil people do evil shit like that and exploit and use that. That she was a child and used the F out of her, and now she's just fucked up for life.
Yeah.
Absolutely nuts. I haven't even heard of that name in a while, Brooks. Holy shit.
Yeah. See what I'm saying? Once you strip them of their wealth and they don't have the ability to, Kardashian the world, then you never hear from them again.
Kardashian the world. It's the truth, though. It's the truth. Brooks ain't kidding. He ain't joking around. It is the truth. Oh man, you think you're banging with me next Saturday night, Brooks? We should have a. I know Keith's gonna be back.
We should be able to do next week. Yeah, I don't have any plans to be out of the country.
All right. You sure you don't want to go? You're not going to Somalia anytime soon?
No, not going to do any foreign travel for a while, if ever again. I've seen a lot of countries.
Dude, you've been all over the place. You went to Egypt for this show. You've taken us all over the place on this show. We've been in the pyramids with you. Everything. I tell you. Yeah, so we'll be doing that next Saturday night. And once again, listen, hopefully a lot of people want Scotty here to return, and so do we. So hopefully maybe he'll start the new year off next year with first of the year appearance. And Brooks, listen, let's go ahead and start getting out of here for tonight. And I want to thank you for all the years of being on this show and friendship, and this entire year you've carried a huge load this year with Scotty being out the majority of the time, and I want to thank you so much for becoming co-host with me.
It's been my pleasure. It really has. I look forward to Earth every Saturday night, as do your fans, and hopefully I haven't disappointed.
Not at all. All you've done is enhance the show, and it's great. Can't wait. Scotty, imagine you, me, and Scotty and Keith on the regular basis. Adam popping in. Come on, we're bringing a good amount of guests coming on next year, folks. And Roger Stone early next year is a huge guest to have back on the show. Hasn't been on since probably about 4 or 5 years. So it'll be nice to have Roger back on. And Brooks, tell everyone when they go to brooksagnew.com, what are they looking for?
Well, it's still not too late to give out great Christmas presents. You can go to my website and you can get any of my books. Many of them have been national bestsellers on Amazon, and the audiobooks that are available for most of them. I'm still recording volume 3 of Arc of Millions of Years, and I'm still recording Glance of Angels. But all the other books are in audio. So if you like audiobooks, man, that's the place to go. But you can also get health and aging products for yourself. True Niagen, ivermectin, fenbendazole. A lot of people are using that now. I know it's very hard to get. Trust me, I know it's hard to get, but you can find it on my website at wholesale prices, and you can take care of yourself. You know what it does. Now you know where to get it.
And that's the place. Brooks is the place to get it from, folks. brooksagnew.com. Brooks, thank you so much again, and Happy New Year, my friend. I'm going to be doing some partying with my brother and some other people, and loved ones and stuff. And I hope you do some good partying for New Year's.
Oh, cool. I appreciate that. Stay safe.
Brooks Agnew, everybody. And I'll talk to you very, very soon, Brooks. For our elusive engineer, producer, and webmaster, Tony, Scott Hare, Adam Earth, Keith Temple. You just heard the great Brooks Agnew. Folks, until next time, let justice be done, though the heavens fall. I'm Chad. This is Earth. I don't think we have our music tonight. Keith's not here. There we go, Brooks.
There it is.
I'm not going to dance for you, though. But Keith will keep dancing for us. Brooks, have a great night, man, and Happy New Year.
All right. Same to you, my friend.
All right, brother. See ya.
Go Panthers.
Go Panthers.